It's official, Netflix has won the bid for WB, and I for one am extremely excited. But while there's a lot of good, there's also a little bit of bad, and I have some ideas that will hopefully make a lot of people happy if they actually are put in place. Without further ado, let's dive in. So while Netflix is full steam ahead on saying that they have purchased WB, there are still some people out there trying to block them. Paramount has literally met with the president to try to block them. So hopefully this goes through because ultimately I am super excited about it. But without further ado, let's dive into some good and some bad. All right, first up, there are way too many streaming services out there. I think we can all agree on that. I've heard it so many times online, and Netflix is one of my favorites because they are the pioneers in the streaming game. So while yes, that does mean that chances are that the prices are going to go up, I want to remind everybody of a not so distant past where we had to pay for cable, we weren't able to watch things on demand, and things were a lot worse from a content viewing perspective than they are today. And the reason why they're a lot better now is primarily because of Netflix. So I am happy to see one of my favorite studios go to Netflix, especially because I wasn't a fan of Paramount winning that bidding war. Before jumping into something that might be bad out of this deal, I want to dive into kind of like a middle ground, because there's still no real understanding of what is going to happen to AEW now that Netflix owns WB. If you're not familiar, AEW had a deal with HBO Max where they were streaming their content like Netflix streams WWE on their channel. So what happens now? My hope is that we'll get both because I love wrestling, and the only thing holding me back from watching more wrestling is the fact that the access, right? I don't always have access. That's why when Netflix bought the rights to stream WWE, I was super pumped because now I can watch PLEs, sorry states, I can watch Raw, I can watch SmackDown, I can watch NXT all in one place without having to run around and chase it. So I hope that in their continued push for live events and live things that they actually keep both and make it AEW and WWE and really become the home of professional wrestling. Especially since TNA just signed a deal with AMC, I don't really know where else AEW can go, and I definitely don't want to see AEW dying. Even though I don't watch it, I still do believe that it is to the benefit of professional wrestling to have a strong competitor like AEW competing with WWE. Alright, now to jump into something that is definitely bad, and bad for theaters. So, theaters are already on the decline, and now that Netflix has bought out WB, I don't know what's going to happen there because honestly, even myself as a fan of going to the theaters, if I know that I'm going to get it on streaming, I'm probably just going to hold off until it's actually released on streaming. There's only going to be a very fine number of movies that I'll go see in theaters. And personally, I have the membership for the year to Cineplex, and I love going to see movies in theaters. But at the same time, if I could save some coin, especially with the likeliness that there will be an increase in price for Netflix, I'm probably going to do it. Alright, so something that I'm happy about, but is actually pretty divisive, is that I really don't think that the Snyderverse is going to happen, and I'm so happy about that. Because even though I loved the Snyderverse, I really enjoyed most of the movies. You know, there were obviously some questionable ones that were rushed, and let's not talk about Justice League, because that first iteration wasn't even really Justice League. It was an amalgamation of people's visions. There's no way that it would be good for DC to have so much content out of there. And I think it would only increase the discourse that already exists. And since Netflix has been slowly separating themselves from Snyder, I really don't see the Snyderverse coming back. So I, for one, am super happy. I love the direction James Gunn's going. I can't wait to see more. I'd love to see Snyder come back and do something within the DCU. That would be epic. But I don't think that the Snyderverse should come back, and that is primarily one of the main reasons why I didn't want Paramount to win that bidding war. Alright, so for the last bad before I dive into my idea, it is my biggest, and I think everybody's biggest critique with Netflix, is that Netflix currently is kind of known as the place where things go to die. Unless you become a super big hit or you're super cheap to make, they don't really believe in pushing forward on a lot of projects that I wish they would have. And so hopefully this doesn't mean that they start releasing and killing things just as quickly. Alright, now my idea. So one of the things that keeps coming up is price. Everybody is concerned about price and it increasing even further. Even though I think that's a little bit weird because I think you're going to be canceling a subscription as well, right? So that it should kind of balance out if you were subscribed to both. But I get it. Money's tight all around for everybody. So having Netflix increase prices is not something that anybody is thrilled about. Even myself. I mean, obviously, if they can move forward without increasing prices, I'd be even happier. I think they'd have a lot more people who stick around, but a lot of people do just sub and then unsub when they want to watch something. So they have to run a business at the same time. I totally get that. So it's just, it's a little bit muddy for sure. But I think I have a fix. One thing that I do love is Prime. And the reason I love Prime is because Prime is kind of like a gateway. It acts as kind of like your traditional cable channel, but with the ability to opt in and opt out of certain stations. And I think as Netflix continues to grow with WB, they should consider some form of breakdown where we're able to opt in and opt out. I think this works for Netflix because it's going to mean that more people will stick around, even if they're subbing and unsubbing from certain parts. They'll primarily keep that baseline, hopefully. And I think it works for audiences because, like I just said, audiences can keep their Netflix subscription, but then only tune in or only have those select packages that will hopefully bring down the general price so that you're only paying for what you actually want to see. Now, I really hope this doesn't lead to us getting cable prices, and I know this model is kind of like that traditional cable model. I just think that Prime does a great job of dividing things up for us, and I think that Netflix would benefit a lot from being able to do the same. I think even Disney should be doing the same if they plan on increasing prices. Or even if they don't, it'd be really cool if they kind of broke down all their different brands and said, all right, well, this one's $3.99, this one's $5.99, this one's $2.99, this one's whatever, $99 a month, and then you kind of choose whatever formation of those that you want. I think if Disney gets to that sooner, because it does make a lot more sense to them, considering they have more brands, and pave the way for Netflix to kind of follow suit. But like I said, at Netflix, it is a bit more tricky, right? They aren't as brand heavy as Disney Plus is with Disney, Hulu, Star Wars, Marvel, so on and so forth. So how could they go about it? Well, I think that if they would divide it up between kids content, anime, live events, in-house content, licensed content, and WB, that would give them enough different brackets for people to be able to kind of just enjoy what they love. That's all I got for you guys today. This news is huge, and I can't wait to see how things actually start rolling out. Anyways, let me know in the comments below, and always, keep it geeky.